Well, hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. We have a beautiful day here despite the air quality. Again, even though we got nice sunshine here, we got poor air quality because of the Canadian wildfires. Chris, how you doing there? See, there's the five guys. Look at that detail there. And we'll head down. Now, again, I'm working from home today. We're getting ready for the Texas trip here, so we'll just tootle around. We'll probably head down to Armitage here in Lincoln Park. We'll go by the St. Valentine's Day Massacre location, historic site, and we'll go by the Reby Moving and Storage here. And Armitage has a nice commercial strip there, so I'm just gonna walk over. Ivan, how you doing there? Here's hey, they're unloading the how you doing? Try to get through here. Try to head down the sidewalk here. They're getting ready for the weekend there. Here's Anatolia. It's a Mediterranean Greek restaurant, I think, and used to be a Thai restaurant. There's an interesting building. Of course, Neo's used to be there. Here's the Big Apple Finer Foods here. They got me through the pandemic. This is a nice locally owned mom and pop grocery store here, and they got a meat market in the back, and they'll deliver your groceries here. It's a nice option to have here in Lincoln Park here. But here we'll head over to the Reby Moving Storage there. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. There's Stephanie, Taco, Jalapeno Salsa, Stephanie, LeBron, Krista, Hanson, how you doing? Nelios? Yeah, Taco, thanks. Saying hello to Krista and everybody else. Hey, the beauty spa here. So here's the Reby Moving and Storage. Let me make sure am I zoomed out all the way? Yeah, we'll film it up close. We usually film it from across the street here. Look at this Egyptian revival architectural style. This was all the rage around 1919, 1920. I think they discovered King Tut's tomb around there. And this one, you know, Jennifer You Should Eat, she knows it better than I do. They actually studied the stuff in Egypt, and when the architect that designed this, they tried to, even these beetles, all this stuff here, the crest, the snakes, they actually measured the measurements, and here you got the, see up close here, here it is, National Register of Historic Places, the Reby Storage Warehouse, George Kingsley, the architect, 1921, 1922. We've discovered other buildings like this up on Sheridan, north of Irving Park, and that used to be a bar. This is still used as Reby Moving and Storage. This was a antique store. I used to go there when it was an antique store, but now they're using it again for, and even this stuff, like these hieroglyphics supposedly say, store your goods with us there, you know, or whatever it says. You can research it there online. But so here we'll head down Clark Street. There's a Ives Cobb building there. Cobb was the same architect that did where the Excalibur, now it's called Dow, the Chicago Historical Society, was down there, or is down there. Still, the building's still there. We go by it there. It's down on Dearborn, near, what is that, Ontario, I think. Yeah. Good afternoon there, Sally. Yeah, made it to the, thanks for joining the lunch bunch here. Wes, Arlo, yeah, I'm missing a bunch of people here. I was looking, Rico Suave, I like that. Yeah, Rico Suave, how you doing there? Isaiah, yeah, I look like Scientology. How you doing there, everybody? So here, if I missed your comment here, it's best to just let it go there. Doctor, sometimes I didn't used to have this problem. Usually we have this on TikTok where the comments go faster than I can read them. Now we're starting to have it on YouTube, which is good because our audience is growing, you know, so we'll see if, but here we got we're above 60 degrees. We got, let's see, do I want to cross the street here? Yeah, let's cross the street here. We'll go through the alley to do the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Here, look at this historic building here. Sometimes the guys that live on the top floor there, they'll wave and say hello when I'm on TikTok. And Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, this is an historic building. Look at this beautiful architecture, the terracotta. And here at Lincoln Park, this is where we're at here. So, see, the lake's this way, Lincoln Park Zoo. So this morning we walked up here. We're going to go over in this area. So Oz Park, Lincoln Park here. I wish they had a plaque on this. Let me see. I need to commit this to memory because this is an important building you're building. There's a Louis Sullivan building over here. Let's check it out here. Here's the Cobden building. It's called the Cobden building, 418. And this is I can't believe this is on the not on the National Historic Register. It should be. I'm looking for a plaque here. Oh, your girlfriend Molly works at Dunkin'. That's great. Well, shout out to Molly there. Yeah, yeah. I sometimes we go to that Dunkin' Donuts. Here we got a brick alley here. Yeah, let me show you this Louis Sullivan building, which is over here. How you doing? And then we'll continue. Look at you got these nice courtyard apartment buildings here. Things are pretty busy here. There's people making deliveries and construction, all kinds of stuff going on. But here, if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We got 12:10 in the PM. This is my lunch walk here on YouTube. And is this it? We're in the right place here. Yeah, this is it. So you see this building here? This I think it still is a single family residence. It's hard to see from the trees. This is a Louis Sullivan building. So this was Ann Halstead's residence. Ann Halstead, you might remember on Lincoln Park West, we filmed the Ann Halstead row houses, and they were the developer of that block, and she was wealthy enough to, but it's not the same Halstead. The Halstead Street's named after, erroneously. Jen corrected me on that, which is good. It's a different Halstead. But yeah, the Great Fire of 1871. I hear a helicopter here. They got some brickwork, Rebel. Hey, Louis Sullivan. I think that was one of his early works. Yeah, they're working on this. But look at those doors. Wow. Look at the peacocks on those doors. Look at that. They're renovating. They're redoing this building here. That's great here. So we'll keep going here. I don't want to creep them out here. I am on a public street, but they might not like me filming them there. That's your house? There you go. Demographics. So you can look on Wikipedia. You can look on the demographics for Lincoln Park there, the census data. Yeah, Lincoln Park's notoriously known as being very wealthy, lily white for Chicago. There is some diversity. There used to be more diversity. You know, you could talk to our friend Chuck De Los Santos, who wrote the book about the Sheffield neighborhood. He grew up in Lincoln Park when it was that area of Sheffield and south down to Clybourne and Halstead used to be more Puerto Rican. And you could talk to, you know, the Puerto Rican parade's going to happen in Humboldt Park this weekend. A lot of that community moved further west as Lincoln Park gentrified further in the 1990s. But this area used to be German American historically. It was a German American enclave in the 1800s. Now it's a wealthy enclave. So you can read whatever demographics are the wealthy people that live in Chicago. But you know, we go to Kenwood on the south side, which is also a wealthy enclave. I don't know what those kids are doing. I don't want to zoom in because I don't want to zoom into kids. But these kids are doing a battle or something. So we'll stay on this side of the street. Yeah, we will rock you. They're singing the Queen song. Chris, how you doing? Mary Therese, how you doing there? No, the Haymarket Memorial is in the West Loop. Thanks for knowing about the Haymarket Memorial. I filmed it before. I'll go back there again. I need to cut out that rerun. There's a Haymarket Memorial. I think it's on Des Plaines or Jefferson or one of those streets there in the West Loop. Or Des Plaines. It's yeah, it's near Randolph. And Randolph is wide there. That's where the Haymarket, original May Day, you know, horrible trial. We go by the courthouse where they hung 5 of the people that were part of that. There was 8 people accused of, there was bombings and police officers and people died. And here's the Francis, that happened in like 1886 or 1888 Haymarket. You can look it up. But Ernie, how you doing there? Anita, how you doing there? Yeah, thanks again. Hope your father's continuing his recovery there. Anita, thanks for the updates there, and thanks everybody for your prayers, and for Shauna's mother-in-law and everybody else there. Who's Chris? Thanks for your prayers for Chris. Chris is doing great as far as last time I checked. Hope you're still doing great, dear Chris. I'll check in with you. And here we'll go. So here, the Mid-North District. We're heading down towards the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Now, I know I've covered that ad nauseum on TikTok. I don't know if I got a lot of footage on it on YouTube land here, so I figure. And even though the air quality's poor, the sunshine's great. We got to me, this is picture perfect. We're above 60 degrees. It looks like summer with natural air conditioning. I haven't ran my air conditioner once this year. Can you believe that? We're June the 5th. Hey, Scotland, how you doing there, Ronnie? Thanks for, I remember you, Ronnie. That's good. Thanks for coming back. And see, this is an historic district. I know it's not as old as the things you have in Scotland there, but for Chicago, anything over 125 years, we call it historic. And because this whole area was burned by the Great Chicago Fire in 1871. There are areas of the south and west side that survived, but not a lot of the housing does. And that's why there's so many brick houses here, because when they rebuilt, they mostly rebuilt by brick and stone. Yeah, you never stopped. Henry Broussard there, you had to run your air conditioners all winter. I know. I was at my, we're about to head to Texas again with my father for Father's Day. We were down there for the Christmas holidays, and they were running their air conditioner New Year's Day, January 1st. Oh man, they almost hit a bike. Yeah. So is that okay? They almost hit a bike. Wow. Yeah. So there was yeah, it's Webster. See, there's not a stop sign here at Webster and Sedgwick. It's really hard to cross here. But here, we'll show this. Thanks for tuning in here. So this is one of the most remarkable houses in this neighborhood. I call it the Psychedelic Barbie House, but it's really a Victorian. I know I got to come up with a better name for it. The reason I used to call it that is, you know, the year that Barbie movie came out, it was the year I started streaming on TikTok, and we was a joke. Hey, there's people, well, there's some of the people that live here. So here, we'll cross the street here. I love your house. This is amazing, yeah. Look at that. So here, let's cross the street here. And I don't want to film anybody here. And they're working on the gardening here. But here we'll show from across the street. I am in a public street here. And here, look at this wonderful Victorian house here. Look at the beautiful painted color scheme here. And they got the John Kearney statues here, which is the chrome bumper parts. He's a sculptor. She's working on it here. They're watering the garden there. But there's the Psychedelic Barbie House here. This is on Sedgwick Street, the Mid-North Historic District. And if we walk down this alley, we can go right down to where the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. I do want to show these before we do it here, since we got the beautiful sunshine here. Yeah, it's painted lady. It's a Victorian. It's a painted lady, just like the ones in San Francisco. It's the same era. It's a Victorian. It's not Queen Anne style. It's a true Victorian. And they paint the wrought iron fencing everywhere. Look at these. I just love these bay windows here at the ground floor there for their front rooms and the stoops. Look how nice that looks. But here, let's and these Italianate windows. All for one. There it is. Look at that. Nelios, how you doing there? Rico Suave. Bluffton. Yeah, Denise. So this is Sedgwick. This is on Sedgwick Street. We're just south of Webster. So sometimes I miss comments here, but so this alley, right across from what I call the Psychedelic Barbie House, that Victorian mansion there. Making sure this car's not pulling behind me in the alley here. This building, they tore down the warehouse that the St. Valentine's Day Massacre happened. This is Clark Street. See, we're behind Clark Street. We're entering from the alley behind where the St. Valentine's Day Massacre happened. This is a public alley. And they built this in 1968. And a guy from Canada bought the bricks from the infamous wall where the Tommy gun mowed down the 7 associated members of Bugs Moran's gang, that Al Capone used proxies, other people. They still an unsolved murder. No one was ever sent to jail for it, even though 7 people lost their lives. And the dog highball escape, we'll talk about it here. But if you ever heard about Chicago gangland prohibition era history, one of the most infamous events called the St. Valentine's Day Massacre happened here, of course, on February the 14th, 1929. Al Capone took over from John Torrio, the South Side Syndicate. They were the true associated with the Italian mobs from New York. Al Capone came from Brooklyn. John Torrio was already here. There was an attempt on John Torrio's life, so he kind of retired, gave the reins to Al Capone. Al Capone was back for vengeance against the North Side gang. First time Weiss was murdered. First, I got to go back to Dino Banyan. Dino Banyan ran the North Side, the gang there from Schofield's flower shop there across from the Holy Name Cathedral. Look at, there's a ghost sign here. This is the St. Valentine's Day Massacre site here. I'll show it to you here. And look at this ghost sign on the back of this nice residential. This is all this stuff fronts Sedgwick, but this is the site of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And since someone's going to pull out of their car, I'll wait till they pull out of their car, because I don't want to freak people. People are already looking at me and they're like, why is this guy filming in the alley? But hey, it's good. People, checking on their friends. But here, let's walk in here. Yeah, I don't want to freak this person out here. But I'll show you how we can kind of go over to Clark Street here. Hey, Taco, let's see. I'm missing all the comments here. My scroll wasn't working there. Yeah, people. I'm glad. Thanks, Crying Bald H-Car. Like almost daily on TikTok for a while, we get people, they think they know their hot stuff, and they're like, go to O Block, and I got reruns. I went to 64th and Parkway Gardens, that's what they call that there, and Odie Perry and all that stuff. And yeah, and people do rightly thought, they're like, why do you talk about prohibition action gang stuff? You don't talk about the stuff that happened in the 2000s. And I know, that's why I learned all that stuff about King Von, Chief Keef, anyway, but we're actually, this is the warehouse. This is the warehouse where the St. Valentine's Day Massacre happened. They shared a wall there. You see on the wall, you see that? That's kind of the roof line on the wall. Now, I'm not for sure. Some people tell me that the actual wall was on this side. I believe it was on this side. I believe the actual wall, the warehouse fronted here. Bugs Moran, at the time of St. Valentine's Day Massacre, he lived in this building right over here. It was a hotel right on Lincoln Park West. He did not go inside. So we'll go through the whole sequence of events. St. Valentine's Day Massacre. This is Clark Street. See where the Chicago Pizza and Oven Grinder is? It's 2121 North Clark Street. It's a great, unique Chicago-style pizza there. To get the Italian restaurant. The antique store shut down. This is Clark Street. Webster's that way. This is Dickens. 2121 North Clark Street. This was 2120, I think. They built this in 68. On the morning of St. Valentine's Day 1929, there was going to be a meeting between the North Side and South Side gangs. They were going to discuss an illegal shipment of liquor from Detroit, the Purple Gang probably. And that would happen. They would get some stolen hooch, came in through Windsor. They would make a transfer, make a deal. So the whole ruse was Al Capone was trying to lure Bugs Moran here so he could kill him. It's not funny. And Bugs Moran came here, and already six of his associates were already here. You can watch Some Like It Hot. They kind of loosely recreated there, that movie with Marilyn Monroe and Jack Lemmon. But the mechanic was already here. He was the 7th member. His dog Highball, he would work on the cars here. It was an auto mechanic shop, and he would fix the cars for the mobsters. He was employed by him. 4 members of Al Capone's gang showed up here, and 2 of them were dressed as police officers. That's the freakiest thing. They were dressed as Chicago's police officers. They came inside. Immediately, I think, I might be wrong about this. Please don't hold me to all these details. You can look it up on your own. The The 6 members plus the mechanic, they thought it was a shakedown. They thought the police were going to go there to seize their liquor, and they were going to shake them down. And so they lined them up against the wall. The famous were the guys had their hands up against the brick wall. And then the 2 Plancos guys, somebody whipped out they had 2 Tommy sub-automatic machine guns, and over 70 rounds. People heard it. People heard it in the telephone wires, and of course they draw attention. And then they quickly. They killed the 7 people. There, one guy actually survived for a few hours, and they actually, police tried to talk to him. He said, "Get me to the hospital for God's sake." He goes, "I ain't talking," because that was the code of the gangsters back then. And for all he knew, the police did it, because 2 of the guys were dressed as police. They thought they were getting killed by the police, and that happened too. And the 2 guys dressed as police officers walked the 2 Plancos guys out, and so the people thought that they arrested some gangsters and they drove off. Bugs Moran did not go in because he saw the car, and he thought it was going to be a shakedown. His spidey sense went off, and he didn't go inside. That saved his life, and that was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. After it, they investigated a bunch of people. No one was ever brought to trial. It's still officially an unsolved murder, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. The Canadian bought the bricks. Now you can go, they went through a series of people change hands. Now you can go to the Mob Museum in Las Vegas, and they recreated the wall with the bullet holes there in the Mob Museum in Las Vegas. And this brick alley was here. I don't know if that ghost sign was here. These buildings were here. This building was not here. So they tore it down in 1968 to do the parking lot. This is senior housing. It's senior housing here. So, hey, thanks for listening to that. There's the St. Valentine's Day Massacre spiel. And, yeah, you ain't talking there. See, Windy City, you're living a long time there. How's everybody doing there? Yeah, Japanese. Deep history, Michael Anderson. Yeah, see, I have to repeat that multiple times. And I leave stuff out. We go into the whole history of Jaime Weiss and Vincent Drucci to Bugs Moran from Dean O'Banion. Al Capone. Al Capone was out of town. They said they knew Al Capone was behind it. But he goes, I was in my Miami beach house there. I wasn't even in Chicago, and that was his alibi. And then if you watch The Untouchables, that's why they had to get him for tax evasion. They couldn't they couldn't nail him down on anything else because he used proxies. He used other people like Machine Gun McGurn to be his assassin. And here's the building where Larry and Balky lived in Perfect Strangers. Remember the Get Out of the City there, Larry Appleton. So here, let's head down Dickens here. We'll go right over to Oz Park here. James Cagney, yeah. OG, there, James Cagney, the old actors there. History in the Alleyway, yeah. Thanks, everybody. Usually we do it from Clark Street, but we did it from the alley there. Yeah, Nelios. Great memories back in the day. One Rare Gemstones. Dave the Rave. Yeah, Julie Reed, how you doing there? Yeah, they paved over Paradise and built a parking lot. That's a great song. Look at that. But here, look at these nice buildings. Look at that. I got to look into this building. Look at that amazing detail at the top. And again, we're at 350 West Dickens, D-I-C-K-N. That's just like Charles Dickens. Very Dickens-esque street here. Look at that. Look at, they got a crest there. Let's check that out. See, there's a bike lane here both ways. They added the bike lane here on Dickens, which is nice. 357 Dickens. Look at that. And look at that, they got their hats. Remember how Jennifer You Should Eat, she's got the tourists with the hats. Yeah, Ernie. Steve Michael, all the Michaels. Yeah, Japan, it's probably late at night. It's probably near midnight, right? Or evening time at least. So here we're crossing, this is still Sedgwick and Dickens. Here's this, remember how we go through here sometimes? Here's this nice development that they built in the 1990s. It's kind of we call this new urbanist development here. 79 Mojave Desert. Are you getting sprinkles? Yeah. Sprinkles in the desert, that's good. Man, beautiful Chicago. We got a beautiful day here. I'll just show you this little park here. We'll walk in here. We'll come out the other side here. we'll head towards Lincoln here. But this is, they got these little paths where you can access these little hidden parks. And I hear a fountain in somebody's backyard here. But here, look at this. See, they got parking all back in here. They got these little parks. Wow, how you doing here? People walking the dogs. You got these archways. It's a nice new urbanist human scale development here. Abu Dhabi, how you doing there? Yeah, there's not as many people on the streets in Chicago as New York. We get that comment a lot, and I didn't notice it until I started live streaming. But yeah, there's not as many people. Even in the summertime, it's just not as many people. Earlier, there was a lot of people on Clark Street when I was filming by the Reby Moving and Storage. This is a residential area, so a lot of people are probably either at work or school or whatever's going on. There was still school going on. And I saw like an on you day, they said on this day, June the 5th. It's the anniversary when they filmed the Batter Swing from Ferris Bueller's Day Off there in Wrigley Field here. Here, we'll head out of here. We'll head right back to Sedgwick here. Oh, no, Dickens. I'm sorry, Dickens. See how they got garages in the back? They got garages and balconies. These are all townhomes that face Lincoln. Having a great day there. Tony, how's it going there? Hey, we got 150 people. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out this beautiful weather here in Lincoln Park, Chicago. Yeah, let's go by the we'll go by the Gemini restaurant, and let's head over. What time we got here? 12:31. Yeah, we got the outdoor seating here. They got the chairs stacked up because later this evening or this weekend for sure, I'm sure they'll have the outdoor seating here. They got nice flower hanging baskets here. It rained yesterday. It rained yesterday morning. Now we do have. We're probably behind. We don't have drought. Obviously we don't have drought conditions, but we're drier than usual. But trust me, we get plenty of rain here, or plenty. But maybe you're talking about the Mojave Desert there. I don't know. How's it going here? So here's Gemini Restaurant, 2075 Lincoln here. Let's see which way we're going to get the light here. We got this. So here's Carnival Grocery here. We go by this on TikTok a lot in the morning. My Lunch Bunch crew, you probably know exactly where we're at here. Lincoln, Dickens, and Cleveland. We usually walk down Cleveland. See, here's some people. Here's some people walking the dogs here. There's people. Grocery store. There's a nice meat market here. The Old Town Art Fair is going to happen June 14th, 15th. I'm going to miss it because I'm going to be in Texas. That's Father's Day weekend. Go down to the Old Town Art Fair there. So Cleveland Street, we always go down that. We'll head over to Oz Park here. We'll go check out we'll show you all 4 statues of Oz Park. There's a beautiful little corner park here. Yeah, I'm going to cross the street here. There's nobody coming. This is Lincoln. Lincoln runs at a diagonal all the way to Lincoln Hotel. If you want to see what the rooftop deck is, check out my TikTok there. See, we got the hey, we got the free library in Elm Hall. We've shown this many times. See, let's see if there's any books in here. Hey, got a lot of books in there. The Horse Whisperer. What's that? But hey, look at this beautiful fountain here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Look at the sunshine. We're seeing it. And beautiful early June splendor. Drew Zim, Mike. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing. Chicks for free. Yeah, work is I agree with that. All I want to do is beat on this drum all day. I don't want to work. I just want to beat on this drum all day. Archer, McKinley Park. That's good. Yeah. So I've covered Bridgeport. I need to get to McKinley Park. There's some nice areas in McKinley Park there. You take the Orange Line down there, and I remember there's all those buildings along Pershing there. It's like the old warehouses there. And there's some tower and things there. It's interesting. But there's actually the actual neighborhood of McKinley Park. And there's a park there too. Hey, welcome to Chicago here. I'm just sticking close to where I'm working from home today. So I'm sticking close to where I live here. So that's why we're always up here. I know by no means this doesn't represent all of Chicago. This is just a small little portion of Chicago. And we got so many more Chicago live streamers which help cover the city better than I can do as one person. Here's, look at this. Look at the nice porch there. 3 coins in a fountain, each one seeking happiness. Remember, I always remember that from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles because Neil Page tried to sing that when they were on the Greyhound bus. And of course, people on the Greyhound bus, they don't know Frank Sinatra. So then Dale Griffith, John Candy started singing the Flintstones song and everybody knew the Flintstones. Look at that. There's the, see, this is new. This is new. This is a, look, double wide lot, a big McMansion here they built on Dickens. So here we're Dickens and Laura B. We'll head into Oz Park. People often ask me about it. There's some people there. See, there's people here. Yeah, there's still an amazing amount of people that still work from home, and I know that from the company I work for. There's people that live only a few blocks away from where I work, and they work from home 4 days a week because that's how they prefer to work. They probably get more done from home. I'm the type of person I get more done from the office, but it depends on what's going on. So here, Oz Park, here we go. Oz Park, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Lincoln Park High School's right over there. I'll show it to you. Here's the Cowardly Lion. Here they got 4 John Kearney statues. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, thanks for saying hello. That's great. That's awesome. How you doing there? Yeah, friends and neighbors here. Here's the Cowardly Lion here in Oz Park. See, no, people don't like his grimace. You know, he's got the courage badge there. But of course, he always had the courage within him there. But hey, they're playing pickleball. Yeah, they got 2 pickleball courts here. Look at that. It's all the rage. And through the wintertime, you can go where the Urban Outfitters used to be on Clark Street. They got indoor pickleball, and they're still playing indoor even in the summertime. Here's pickleball. Yeah. Summer baseball camp. There you go. Lincoln Park Baseball Academy. Yeah. Yeah, I was never get enough into the 10-man. Yeah, we'll show the 10-man there. Yeah. Hey, ski and snowboard camp. You got tennis courts. A lot of people walking the dog, people laying in the grass here. Yeah, let's walk through the trees here. We'll head right over to the Scarecrow. We were here yesterday. We walked through here on TikTok, but now we're on YouTube. Yeah, a few good years. So this is called Oz Park. This is Oz Park, O-Z. It's named after Frank Baum's books, The Wizard of Oz. And that's why there was the Cowardly Lion. Lincoln Park High School's over there. This is a relatively new park. They started building this in the 1970s. I think this was like leftover either industrial or underutilized land somehow that they consolidated and they built this park. And then later, subsequently to that, they added the John Kearney statues. There's the 4 main characters. We just saw the Cowardly Lion. We're going to see the Scarecrow, which is right there. And then the 10-man, and then we'll take you to Dorothy. And what a beautiful day. And Lincoln Park High School uses these ball fields and tennis courts. There's a playground over there. It seems like the playground's pretty packed. And we'll go over there because that's where Dorothy's statue is. This is the Scarecrow, Oz Park, Lincoln Park, Chicago. We got about 60 degrees. We're 12:38 in the PM, Chicago Central Time. Yeah, Toto's with Dorothy. Yeah, they got the dog there. So I guess there's 5. I guess they got 5 of the characters. Thanks for reminding me of that. So then they got the Emerald Gardens here. They got a nice flowered garden here. And maybe we can walk through it. I don't know if I can get through the other side there. Here's the, let's go inside here. We'll go right inside. Welcome to Emerald City Gardens here. The Oz Park Advisory Council there it is. No dogs allowed. Good luck with that. There's the Scarecrow. Look, he's got his diploma. Got his brains there. If I only had a brain. It's hard to see in the shadow, but it's John Kearney statue. Here's the Scarecrow here in Oz Park. Doctor of Thinkology. 2005. This has been here since 2005. The Scarecrow, and so I got to show the Tin Man before we leave this area here, and then we'll go over to Dorothy here. So Oz Park. This is the six-way intersection of Lincoln, Larrabee, and Webster. Chicago's in your bones. Ray Bolger. Did you ring? Lurch. Yeah, we need a witch. At least the Wicked Witch of the West would be nice, or the Good Witch Glinda. Yeah, we need the Wizard. There's so many characters. We need some flying monkeys in this park too. We need like some Yellow Brick Road. There's all kinds of things that we could add. But this is probably the most prominent piece. You can see it from this major intersection, or not? It's not major. It's just an intersection. See John Kearney, sculpture by John Kearney, commissioned by the Lincoln Park Chamber of Commerce here. And there he is, the Tin Man there. John Kearney. This is more of his, just like the ones we saw at the Psychedelic Barbie House. He's out of chrome bumper parts here. Here's the Tin Man. Oz Park, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Yeah, the 90s. I miss the 90s too. I want a time machine to take me back to the 90s before AI and chatbots and Elon Musk. Let's go back to the 90s. There's Dairy Queen. He's got a pickup window there. Yeah, which? Oz Park. So here, this is Webster. What time we got? 12:40. Yeah, she's a perfect witch. She would go on like Sesame Street and stuff. Yeah, you know, and 2008. Well, Chicago misses you. Thanks for tuning in virtually. Here's Oz Park. The people sitting on benches here. Beautiful gardens there. It used to be, I don't know if there's a gate on this side. Like I would walk in there and I couldn't find I guess there is a gate so you could walk through there. So maybe we might head back through there instead of, or we can go up these side streets here. Yeah, there's a farmer market every Saturday north in Clark next to Lincoln Park Zoo. Thanks for the good information there. Michael. That's good. How's everybody doing here? Happy Thursday, June the 5th, 2025. We got 12:41. See, they redid this playground. Remember, there was a earlier iteration of it, and they had a rat infestation, so they had to clear that out, and then they rebuilt it bigger and better. And I won't film the kids here, so we'll show the housing over here. You grew up in Wrigley. That's great. Yeah, we went up to Wrigley last week. We were at a game there, and you can watch the rerun if you go back to a week from last Friday. I took off of work there, and my friend Dave got me into the Reds were playing the Cubs there. Cubs lost last night, and let's see how the White Sox did. I think the White Sox lost too. But the Pope's supposed to give a Jumbotron address there. Yeah, the White Sox lost 5-4 to the Detroit Tigers there at Rate Field. Hey, they're swinging there. Look at that. White Sox won yesterday, like 8-1, but I think they lost 2-3 to Detroit. Cubs play the rubber match against the Nationals. I think today is already going on, or later today in Washington, D.C. Here's Dorothy and Toto. There's Dorothy and Toto. You got some noise here. Lincoln Park Zoo. No, this is Oz Park. Lincoln Park. I meant to say this is not the Lincoln Park Zoo. This is Lincoln Park within this Oz Park within Lincoln Park here. Here's the Dorothy, Toto. She's got her ruby slippers there. 2007. This one's made out of bronze. And let's just check out. There, Toto's got a bone there. Look at that. Got the basket. Ruby slippers there. I'm not going to look under her dress. And there's the basket there. I'll get you, my pretty. My grandmother used to do that. She could do it well. Imagine how many times she saw that movie with the kids growing up. Yeah, let's walk down. This is a beautiful street. I want to check out these trees here. So they added this. You know, that's a newer McMansion here. I guess we'll cross the street here. Thank you. And Yeah, this is Orchard Street. So Orchard, remember we were on Orchard Street early this morning, but we were several blocks up that way. And yeah, this modernist. Hey, look at the foliage. Look at these trees. It's nice to see everything leafed out here. Fair Festival, Lincoln and Fullerton, right when it hasn't taken place anymore. Okay, Lincoln between, was that the Lincoln Fest? Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I used to go to that. On Lincoln, they used to have a, I think, I'll see if they have it this year. They used to have it in July, right? Now, they're going to have the Old Town Art Fair, like I just showed the poster. I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to be in Texas, but they're going to have the Old Town Art Fair next weekend. This weekend's the Puerto Rican Parade, and then it's the Blues Festival's going on downtown. So, hey, they're working on the nice yard here. This is a really beautiful house here. We'll show it here. This is, and we got to see when this thing was built. This is almost like Policeman Bellinger's house. It probably goes, it's typical of the housing that was probably destroyed by the Great Chicago Fire. Look at the, see, it's more wood frame on the brick foundation. The bottom's brick. I think that's just painted on there. I don't even think that's real brick. But look at that. They did a wonderful paint job. They got the nice flag there. Look at this. With 2218 Orchard. 2218 Orchard. We can research this, see the history of this house here. But it's on a nice wide lot. They got a nice landscaping here. This is Orchard Street, north of Webster, Lincoln Park, Chicago, just north of Oz Park. Look at the beautiful landscaping, nice flowers. Oh, I gotta watch where I'm walking. I almost tripped there. The jagged sidewalk, the jagged little pill. Yeah, I know Kevin's already ready. He's ready for the Tigers to beat the Cubs. So this is a beautiful place here. Look at these gables here. I got to look into this. Everywhere you look, there's just some historic looking building. You wonder who built it and what the original, it was, I guess, residential here. This is 2235 North Orchard Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. We got 1246. Look at the trees here. See, there's an apartment building. There's all these were probably built after the 2000s. It'd be fun to paint. Yeah, I'm getting boring too, you know. I just walk around and film stuff. But hey, it's my way to give back here. Yeah, we're showcasing what exists in the world. Yeah, the weekends. We're working for the weekend. There's the Bad Apple. Bunch of bad apples there. Yeah, here's Halligan's. This is this nice strip here. I did a lot of the ball bars around here. DePaul University's near here. Yeah, they got the cilantro taco and grill here. Yeah, get your bowl there. Cerveza. Hey, there's the Chicago crime tours. So I bet you they're going to the St. Valentine's Day Massacre site. So you can pay to take this or just brought you Brian Really Chicago. And there's your crime tours there. Here, let's show Halligan's here. Let's cross the street here. Halligan's, Chicago. This nice corner bar here. You got Yinling. Halligan. Look at this beautiful door. Look at the stained glass there. Halligan's, Chicago. The 2274 North Lincoln. There, let's cross. We got the nice seating here. We'll cross here. That used to be the children's house. That's a nice convertible. Oh, I missed that Thunderbird. Look at that Thunderbird there. Wow, Thunderbird convertible. I walked right by it and I didn't even notice it because I'm looking at the buildings. Here's the Bad Apple. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff down that way. Yeah, let's check it. Oh, they're painting a mural. Look at this, an in progress. What a beautiful mural here. I like this. Wow, in progress. How you doing there, sir? This is great. I noticed this going up. I'm Brian Really Chicago. I'm just walking through the neighborhood. So thanks for working on this. What's your name, sir? Vlad. Thanks for painting this. This is awesome. So that's what it's gonna look like. And I already see it here. Here's the bird. Painting that's great. See, I always like murals here. And yeah. Terre Haute, how you doing there? Who was that? Let's see. Excalibur. Evie, how you doing? So this is Belden. Let's head over to Fullerton. We'll walk back Fullerton because it's such a beautiful walk there. I got 10 minutes to get back. Generally, I know I didn't start right at noon. Here's a Honda Vespa here, or it's a Metropolitan. It's not. Vespa's a brand. Yeah, here's the courtyard for the. Right there, look at that mural there. Painting it there. There's murals there. This is the Bad Apple. This used to be John Barleycorns, but now it's the Bad Apple here. Same location here. Yeah, the air quality should be really bad today. I guess it would be a better blue sky. You see how the sky's kind of gray. We got sunshine. Somehow the sun's burning through it, but here we'll cross here. We're at Orchard and Belden here. And Lincoln. Yeah, this used to be the Children's Hospital. It moved down to Streeterville, and then they built housing here. And we'll walk through this trellis thing. Yeah, this is Chicago. This is Lincoln Park. Thanks for tuning in here. We're at Lincoln, Orchard, and Belden, 6-way intersection. And we'll head by this new development they built about 10 years ago. Here, Velvet Taco. You go to the pickup window here. Sit outside. We're on Lincoln here. There, mobile pickup right at the kitchen there. So they saved that parking garage. There's a nice view. I still need to make sure. I think this might be a Louis Sullivan, but I'm not for sure. And I say that every time, and I never go look it up. Let's see, what's the address here? 2310, 2316, 2310, 2316. I can't tell. There, Elephant and Vine. Smoothie. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, new condos. Yeah, can you smell that smell? Clean your dirty face. Clean your dirty face. Clean your dirty mouth. There's Crumble Cookie. They're all over the city. Phil's Coffee. They're all over the city. All these brands. Put advertisements on the street. Let's see, they added a few storefronts as far as the front of the parking garage. That parking garage was here when it was the Children's Hospital. Look at this trellis. They got a nice little roundabout here for drop off, and sometimes they program this with stuff. We'll show you the seating here. It looks nice. So there's a sushi sake place, a wine place. Here's a coffee place, and then look, you can sit right out here. Look how nice this is. Under the trellis, they light this up at night. Walk right up here. So hey, Lincoln Park, Chicago. This almost didn't. The aldermanic election hinged on this development. It was like 5 votes decided it. It was that close back whenever they. Here, let's head right through here. I like how they got these things on the side here. You can sit. Got some wind blowing here because of the tall buildings, but yeah, you could just lounge here, you know. Look, yeah, check out your phone. I could post a TikTok right here or YouTube. Yeah, look at this. You see that? Yeah, it looks really nice at night when they light it up, and they can do holiday themed things there. And we'll walk through. They got some fountains over here. Sense of space, yeah. Yeah, it draws you into the whole. Unifies the whole plaza there. And see, they left this. This was here when it was the Children's Hospital. It's the Martha Wilson Memorial. It's the only portion I know that's left from when this was the Children's Hospital. They left it here. And here's the fountains here. We'll head back to Fullerton and we'll just walk back that way. Hey, thanks for appreciate people. I'm not signing off yet. I got to get back. I got to walk two or three blocks to get back to Clark Street. Yeah, they got this little. See, they got these fountains here, and then they got a little sculpture of the kids doing the whip or whatever they call this. Some people call me the space cowboy. Some people call me the gangster of love. Some people call me Maurice because I speak from the pompous of love. Look it up. He just made that word up. There's no pompous. That's not a word, but it sounds cool. Oh, Steve Miller. Look at the sculpture here, yeah. Ring around the rosies. But here, you see this housing, yeah. Nice fountains here. They got little gas lights. They light these up at night. Busy in the garden there, yeah. Now's the time to, get out in the garden, get outside, despite the poor air quality. I don't know if it's bad where you're at, but yeah, it's supposed to have really bad air quality from the Canadian wildfires. But it's sunny. We'll go by St. Paul. So now we're back to Fullerton here, Orchard in Fullerton. Hey, thanks for joining me on my little walk here. Ernie. Ernie, yeah. I've been living in Chicago longer than Ernie's been alive. I know you said that there yesterday. I appreciate that. That's good. Here, let's head across here. The light's about to change. Yeah, they can't get through because it's blocked. So, I mentioned this on Memorial Day. See, Richard Fossil, killed in action, World War II. They got these memorials. I'm glad they got flowers. They probably put that for Memorial Day. Richard Fossil. Further down, there's another one. We'll show it to you. They used to have these memorials all throughout the city. Not all of them remain. And people's families bought those in the city after World War II. They would put it. They must have lived around here. Yeah, the 1900s. I moved to Chicago in the 1900s. That's how old I am. And I was already out of college. There's, Fullerton. There's a robin, I think. That's when you went by St. Paul's Church there, Methodist, or no, Church of Christ. Yeah, look at the beautiful housing here on Fullerton. We'll catch it across the way. Yeah, fly like an eagle. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Born and raised, thanks Denise. Yeah, Denmark. How you doing there? All you need is love. Let's see. Greetings from Denmark. Yeah, and love is all you need. Thank you. Look at this beautiful housing. So it's not. I'm sure I know you got beautiful housing in Denmark. You got that nice historic amusement park in Copenhagen. Yeah, but here's the housing on Fullerton. Across the way, look at this amazing brickwork. Look how the lights hitting these buildings here. And here, I'm going to try to see if I can get across the street here because these buildings are just beautiful. Try to get across the street. See, this happens a lot. The traffic will back up on Fullerton. That's the biggest drawback about living on Fullerton is that the traffic does back up, especially in the summertime because of the light. But look at this housing here on Fullerton, Lincoln Park, Chicago. So we're in between. We're east of Halsted and we're west of Clark Street on Fullerton. This 2-block district here, the Fullerton, I think that's what they call this historic block here. It goes with Fullerton Arlington Historic District. That's what they call this. You see on both sides of the street here, you got these share walls. These are townhomes. These have little gaps in them. This one's just beautiful here. And look at that. Look at that brickwork. Look at that detail. We just can't build them like this anymore. These were all built in the late 1880s, like 1888. Look at that door. Look at that terracotta. And look at the glass bottle circles in the window. You know, I love these buildings. And they're just, you know, how do you put a price on this? I know it's very expensive because if we ever lose these, they're not going to be replaced, you know. Look at that. Look at that terracotta. The Northwestern Terracotta Company, I'm sure, produced that. Just western part of Lincoln Park. Look at the ivy growing up there. So look at the stone facade there, Queen Anne style, a true gray stone. Look at the landscaping, the beautiful flowers. This is 618 Fullerton. If you're looking for this on the map, 618 West Fullerton Parkway, Chicago, Illinois, 60614. And that's the zip code. Look at that. Owner of a lonely harp. Harp beer. No, heart. That video used to freak me out. I was a little kid. I'd watch that video. I was like, oh, they're taking him to the basement. Ah, they kidnapped him. Look at that. Yeah, look at this beautiful housing here. So hey, they're working on the church here. We'll get around here. See, they lost the spire. Lightning hit that. This is the Lincoln Park Presbyterian Church. And this is Geneva Terrace in Fullerton. Geneva Terrace in Fullerton Parkway. Lincoln Park Presbyterian Church. There used to be a spire, but it got hit by lightning. Sacred space. Yeah, they're working on this. Got a construction site here. Hey, they're hauling up the bucket there. Clear way through here. Look at this housing across the way here, Pasadena. How you doing? Yeah, you said, I'm glad. Yeah, you don't have heart. Isn't that amazing? It shows you it's just marketing to Americans. People in Ireland don't drink harp. You know, you'll drink Guinness, the real Guinness, but not harp. You know, yeah. Of course, Guinness. Well, they got like a 10,000 year lease or something. But here, Fullerton, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Thanks for tuning in from Ireland. I appreciate that, Nelios. But I love this housing. I'm very fortunate that I live in this area. I get to walk down this street on my way to the train. And it's always a beautiful walk, all seasons, all 4 seasons. Yeah, they're building a new building. We'll go right by it. This is where the Cynical used to be. I showed it this morning on TikTok. We'll show it here. Yeah, it's a good way to end this. We'll start wrapping this up. Thanks to my mods and everybody else. I'll show you this new building. Don't sign off yet. Here's the Church of Our Savior. They're adding a new building in the back as well, a new parish center. I'll show you the rendering here. But yeah, right there, they're building new multifamily. See, this is multifamily apartment buildings. But here's the new parish center's coming here, Church of Our Savior. They got a SketchUp rendering there. And look at the beautiful stained glass, but you can see in the back here. All kinds of construction going. There it is. There's the new housing on Fullerton. 1, 2, 3, 4 stories. It's gonna be apartments, luxury apartments. Imagine that. And there's the new parish center for Church of Our Savior. So here, let's look at this. Dan Strauss is the developer. There it is. Fullerton, this is just west of Clark Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. This used to be the Cynical. They tore it down and they're building single family residential on Cleveland, and then they're building this higher density stuff. And there's going to be another, there's going to be another one next to it eventually. Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in to live. Hope you have a good rest of your Thursday. We'll probably be on TikTok after 5 tonight, and then we'll ease into Friday, and then I'll be heading to Texas. So check out the reruns on TikTok. I posted the Coco sighting of the little autonomous delivery vehicle, and I posted some of the street art there by the Salvation Army in River West, or whatever they call that area. And we walked under the alleys and stuff. So I'll post some of the fireworks hopefully soon, and some of the Riverwalk stuff we saw last night. Nice seeing you, Ernie, and everybody else. Thanks to my mods. Thanks to the whole team there. Thanks for tuning in, everybody from all across the world. Enjoy this weather. Be careful with the air quality. And we hope the Canadian wildfires will... It's very hard to keep them under control. They're just going to have to let them burn. It's just a possible situation. So externalities. But yeah, be kind to all animals, humans included. Michael, that's Sarah. Sarah always used to say that. I'm glad you remember that. We'll remember Sarah, John James, and Diana. And they're up there in heaven right now watching the live stream there. So thanks for the shout out there. I'm sure Sarah would appreciate that. And we'll talk to you later from Chicago. Have a great rest of your day there. Thanks a lot. That's a great way to end it. So hey, see you later. Thanks.